gentlemen, and welcome. Oh, I have my hair pinned. Aloha, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my tube of living to your highest potential. My name is Aubrey Apple, and I wanted to talk about purposes. Purpose. What is your purpose? It's such a common question, but nobody really asks that question. I know this for sure because I grew up not being asked that question. What is my purpose? I was told to be like this and to be like that and to be a nurse and to take this and to do this. I never really had a chance to grow as this person who could think about what my purpose is supposed to be. And I recently asked my mom what her dream was or her purpose, and she like bluntly said, I never thought of it. I never really thought I could dream. We were like all trained to be nurses, and we were all trained to work a job that ensures an income. And that's sad. That's really sad because purpose is like this thing that you were meant to do. And a lot of people don't actually get to do what they were meant to do. But when you do get to do what you're supposed to do, like people like Oprah and this boxer in the Philippines, Pacquiao, I mean, he was able to do what he was supposed to do, even if it's like through boxing or to communication like Oprah or an athlete. I was reading the book The Path Made Clear by Oprah Winfrey, and her first topic on this book is about purpose. What is your purpose? And it really kind of hit me because I didn't really think of my purpose growing up. I knew I was going to be a nurse because my father told me so. When I quit nursing, because my whole system wasn't accepting nursing. Like I went to school, I graduated, but I just like my whole body just wanted to go a different way. And he told me to take accounting, and that's where I end up, is accounting school, and I finished accounting, and now I'm an accountant. Not really, I am not an accountant, I am practicing accounting, but that's not my purpose. I know that because I was told to be one. So there is this line by Dr. Shafali Tabari. It states, whether we like to recognize it or not, even the most unconscious person, against their greatest will, is in a process to evolve. Life gives us opportunity after opportunity to ask, is this my true self? Or am I living the inauthentic self? Inauthentic. My accent. Or am I living that inauthentic self? Becoming conscious means to recognize when the moment arrives. And it's coming, and it's coming, and it's coming. It's so funny because when I was growing up, like I said, I was studying to be a nurse. But different things start happening in my life that kind of geared me towards a different direction. And I saw it more like a distraction because my father told me it's a distraction. Like I met my best friend Ingrid when I was studying nursing, and I started going out with her, clubbing, and my father said that she is a distraction. And I took her as a distraction as well because instead of studying, I went out clubbing, dancing, socializing. But for me, I chose her over studying nursing. So I was fine with it. But now that I think about it, that is actually, what was that line said? Life gives us opportunity after opportunity to ask, is this my true self? Or am I living the inauthentic self? I was being pushed to my authentic self because I was living an inauthentic life, living through my father's dream of me becoming a nurse. Life just kept pushing me to this rough edge where I'm going against all my body just keeps taking me there. And this is because life actually gives you certain kinds of situation or people, and it is for you. You were meant to have that friend, you were meant to have that boyfriend, you were meant to have that opportunity or misfortunes, so that you may evolve to this person that you needed to be to meet that purpose. It is such a beautiful thing now that I really think about it, because there were so many circumstances where I keep playing like in my head, like even now, like I should go back to school for law degree. When I was growing up, I saw my great grandfather work every day as a judge, and he practiced law in our home, in our backyard. So I saw him work, and I really do love it. And all his law books and all his process, I enjoy. Then my family kind of like, oh, you should be a lawyer. So I was like, oh yeah, I should be a lawyer. I didn't really like, I didn't really think to become a lawyer. I just really love the whole process, and I do love reading law books. Like when I was in college, I, for fun, read law books, and I enjoy it. But because my father kept pushing me to be a lawyer, I just kind of like, eh. And the other day, I noticed myself Googling like law classes just randomly, like I should be a lawyer. It's just this paradigm, and I don't even know if I really do want to be a lawyer, or it's just my paradigm speaking to me. And so I go back to this seedling of purposes, because I was trained to listen to other noises, and I never really had a chance to listen to my own. So I take a lot of step backs, and even though it kind of gets out to be like I don't know what I'm doing, like I have a nursing background, accounting, and real estate, and I have my business in jewelry, and I'm working as a private contractor as accountant, and I'm like wanted to start this business in the Philippines. I'm actually trying to familiarize myself to my purpose, and life keeps giving me these certain circumstances, and before I just ignore it, but now I see it as a sign, like a going the wrong way. Life actually brings me back to where I'm supposed to go. So it looks like I'm doing a lot of different things, but I'm just trying to get in touch with my purpose. And I think I found my purpose when I did not plan this. I went to the Philippines buying pearls, and the driver was like, you should go to this one town, it's called El Nido. And I told him, I've been there before, I'm okay, I'm here to buy pearls, I'm in and out. I have my daughters in a different island being watched by my family, and I'm supposed to only go in this island, go get a pearl, come back to my daughters. But the driver was like insisting, like, oh, it's such a nice place, it's been renovated, blah blah blah. So my instinct was going, yeah, you should go there. Oh no. So when I was in this island, I was supposed to only buy pearls, but the universe took me to a different path. I met a young girl who was selling pearls, and she kind of had this look. It's hard to explain, but just like I was her Santa Claus. And she said, I have never met someone who is dark and beautiful and have money. And I'm just like, for me it was a joke, but that conversation I had with that little girl was very interesting, but I didn't really think much of it. I went home, and that image of the girl keeps popping in my head even if I wasn't thinking of it. So this book is like, when I was reading it, it awoken that you get into certain circumstances or certain situation where it leads you where you're supposed to be. Now, I did not really plan to be a, how do you call this, YouTuber? I didn't really plan to record myself every Wednesday or Thursday and post a video in YouTube. But because I'm not comfortable speaking in public, and I'm also not comfortable speaking out loud, that this is my way of training to speak, because it gave me this idea. What if I go home to the Philippines, every time I go home, and speak to the young kids what I have learned from Oprah and Bob Proctor and certain people that I listen to in YouTube. So I have this voice in my head that says, open a YouTube channel so you can practice speaking in public, even if, I don't know, if somebody's listening. And I did. So every little voices that goes in my head, I'm trying my best to follow it. Or even if I get woken up at 5 a.m. and it states in my head, go write your book, I would do it. Now, I've not always done it. I've woken up at 5 a.m. before, and the first thing I thought of is write your book. And the night before, I would pray, can you show me what I need to do next day to follow my purpose? And I would be woken up at 5, and the thing in my head would say, write your book, practice your speech, don't go surfing. But I would do the other way around. I would just like, 5 more minutes, and I would wake up at 6 a.m. and I would go surfing and study like later on. I'm not completely there yet, but I am practicing the things that comes out in my head. Now, today when I was in the car, I heard Oprah's book, The Path Made Clear, on YouTube, and I wanted to revisit the book. I've read the book, but I want to revisit. And I even forgot that the first thing on the book is purpose. And I was thinking, I never bothered to ask myself what my purpose was growing up. And I picked up little clues that happened in my life where I needed to be. And I never really thought of it as a purpose, like that girl and that surf spot in the Philippines, and my traveling skills, and my friendliness to people, my ability to be uncomfortable in any countries and still be happy, my ability to commute without sleep. So that little characteristic is gearing me towards my purpose. I'm a great traveler. I love talking. I love teaching kids. So every time I go to the Philippines, I teach my cousins how to think certain things, but I never really thought to be a motivational speaker. I don't know. I don't really know, but I'm here to figure it out. I love this line from Bishop T.D. Jakes. He said, if we can get the clutter out of our mind, if we can get the guilt out of our mind, if we can get the shame out of our mind, if we can get the worry out of our mind, if we can get the busyness out of our mind, then all of a sudden we're going to have ideas, which are seeds. And the seed of an idea gets planted firmly in your mind when you believe in yourself and you believe in your potential. I wanted to close out with that line because that is beautiful. I tend to get so busy and so, what is that line? Shamed out and guilty for doing certain things like traveling the world and not wanting to be a nurse. I felt so guilty and whatnot. When I realized to accept that that is not my path and my purpose, and that I have something greater for me out there, then I start hearing these little voices of purposes. I'm not completely sure if it's really gearing me towards what I think it's gearing me towards to, but I'm here to follow it. I hope you get to find your purpose. Try to listen to that little voices in your head. Once you sit down, declutter, don't be too busy. Even though I'm always busy, I do practice to sit down and listen to my inner voices at least 20 minutes a day. I'm very lucky if I get an hour, but I do give 20 minutes during the day to kind of think about what I'm doing